Social Media Manager. Great to have everybody here tonight. What I want to do right off the bat is just quickly introduce myself and Angela, a little bit about us. I have been around the sales and marketing arena for the past 30 years. That's all I've done for the past 30 years. Actually, it's probably a little bit more than that now. So needless to say, I am definitely an old guy. I've had clients that have included IBM, Microsoft, DirecTV. I've done a lot on the agency side as well as on the company side in marketing. And for the past 15 years, I've really specialized in online marketing. That's really my area of expertise. Anything online, I've pretty much done. And again, I've done it for big companies. I've done it for small companies. And I've been Facebook marketing pretty heavily for the past 5 years. So I really consider myself to be a Facebook marketing expert, and obviously going to be sharing that with you guys. A little bit about Angela. Angela has been internet marketing for the past 7 years, pretty much exclusively for the past 7 years. She really is a social media and PR expert. That's what she does. That's what she excels at. She's been 7 years in social media marketing, and I got to tell you that's pretty much how long social media has been around. Maybe MySpace has been around a little bit longer than that, but barely. So Angela's pretty much been social media marketing since social media has been out there. She's also got 8 years of IT experience. She's worked with companies like Novell, in system development, that type of thing. So she's got that kind of background at the same time. So enough about us. Let's dive right into what we're going to talk about tonight. Why social media? And this is really, I say why social media as it relates to businesses, and especially small businesses. Why social media? Why is it important for small businesses to jump on that social media bandwagon? Let's take a quick look at Facebook. 700 million active users. I mean, Facebook's population is larger than the U.S., which is just crazy when you think about it. Half of Facebook's users log on every day. Think about that. 50% of all Facebook users log on every single day. And the average Facebook user has 130 friends. The average user has 130 friends. Take a quick look at Twitter. Next biggie out there. 55 million tweets per day. I mean, there's over 50 million tweets on a daily basis. That's incredible. 105 million users on Twitter, registered users on Twitter. And Twitter gains 300,000 new users a day. 300,000. I mean, folks, this is the kind of activity that's happening in social media. So when a company asks me, when a small business, when any business asks me, what do I really need to be on social media? Well, it's where your audience is. Markets are conversations that a company needs to engage socially. There's no question about it. Markets consist of people, not demographics, right? So, you have the opportunity to create a community with these individuals. That's what these small businesses have the opportunity to do. And they need to invest the time developing these channels. It's going to pay off in the long run. The big challenge for most of these companies is they just don't have the know-how or the manpower to do it. They need a professional. Here's the bottom line. Why do they need a social media manager? Okay, it's obvious why they need social media. No question about it. There's no question. But why do they need a social media manager? They need a professional presence, right? They need to look better than their competition. And the good news is, especially right now, the good news is that's not really difficult to do. They need somebody who has extensive knowledge on the platforms best suited for their business. So they need somebody that knows Facebook, that knows Twitter, that understands LinkedIn, that understands all of the new networks that are coming out, and to be able to make the decision on which platform is best suited for them to spend the most time on. They need someone who's up to speed with the latest tools, platforms, and strategies. Social media is changing constantly, folks. It's changing constantly. And a business these days needs to have somebody that can stay ahead of that curve. I mean, look at what Facebook's been doing lately. You know, the curveball that they threw, you know, most of us on the fan pages. So it's that kind of information. It's that kind of knowledge that they need someone to keep up to speed with. No question about it. They need, obviously, a well-thought-out social media strategy if they ever want to succeed in the social media world. They need someone who can create a consistent message and keep the content fresh. I mean, I can't tell you how many pages, I'm sure you all do as well, I can't tell you how many pages I go to on a daily basis, and you take a look at when was the last time that it was updated, and, you know, it's you know, some ridiculous, like 3 months ago type thing, right? If you're going to have a social media presence, it needs to be updated, and it needs to be updated and content added on a daily basis is really what it comes down to. And the bottom line is this: having a social media manager saves the business owner time, which is by far and away their most valuable asset. Listen, business owners have a lot more important things to do. I mean, this is a critical piece for most businesses, no question. But a business owner isn't trained in this arena, and frankly, they shouldn't be. They should have a basic understanding of what social media can do for their business, but they shouldn't have to take the time to go through some kind of training course and then, on top of that, have to work an hour or 2 hours a day to keep up with all of it. I love this statistic right here, and I want you to take a look down here where my cursor is, and it says 9% of small businesses said a social media expert would be the most helpful new hire, and that was the second most popular choice after a bookkeeper. I mean, there's a lot of things on the list, that's why it's such a small percentage, but the bottom line was number 2 thing that small businesses said would be the most helpful new hire was a social media expert. Folks, it's not that you have to educate the small businesses anymore that they need somebody. They know it. They know it. You just have to understand how to go at them the right way, and you have to have the right kind of training, the right kind of information behind you to be able to approach businesses is what it comes down to. I want to share with you now kind of a day in the life. This is the day in the life of a social media manager, just to give you an idea of just, and this isn't even all of it, but just an idea of some of the things that a social media manager does on a daily basis. Okay, one of the things that they could be doing on a daily basis is building or customizing client fan pages. And of course, now with the changes on Facebook, one of the things that a lot of social media managers I know that are going to be doing are updating those pages to be able to reflect the new timeline. The new timeline that's now being rolled out by Facebook. So there's a lot of opportunity there in just this first piece. Certainly, one of the big things social media managers do, developing new content to post. However they're developing it. Some people are writing it, some people are sourcing it, but developing new content to post is critical. And doing that ahead of time, actually, almost having an editorial calendar. Posting that new content, right? You know, depending on the business, depending on what they're doing, but probably twice a day posting new content, new fresh content to stay in front of that business's customers and prospects. You know, in the case of Facebook, staying in front of their fans. In the case of Twitter, staying in front of their followers. Of course, this is always a big one, policing clients' walls for spam. So many, you know, there's so much out there right now. There's so many people that are posting inappropriately on companies' fans. I see it all the time, and it amazes me. I'll like come back the next day, and it's still sitting there, which tells you what? That they aren't keeping an eye on their wall. One of the other things, obviously, is responding to fans' questions. You know, people will come on to a fan page. They'll ask a question on the wall. And actually, with this new fan page, this new timeline profile that's being rolled out for fan pages, fans are now going to be able to send a private message to the fan page. That's a new feature, which is really kind of cool. So responding to those questions, or obviously, sending those questions to the appropriate person in the organization to get answered. And, how important is this? Deploying fan acquisition tactics. Getting people on the fan page, getting the right kind of people on the fan page, building that audience, engaging that audience. That's a daily activity, right? So this is just a little snapshot of a day in the life of a typical social media manager. And imagine this times 10 clients, right? And there's a lot of this right here that can be smartly outsourced. And one of the things that we're going to do in our training is talk about outsourcing and where does outsourcing come in, and even supply outsourcing resources to be able to tap into. Because you obviously, if you try to do all of this yourself, you're going to have a limited number of clients that you can work with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's going to obviously restrict your income. So being able to use outsource resources for a lot of this stuff smartly is the way to go, to be able to leverage yourself and be able to expand your reach. Okay, so I like this. Social media manager, $$. I think you know what's coming next, and really it's what can you expect? What can you expect as a social media manager realistically? Realistically, on a monthly basis per client, you're looking at, depending on the level of service that you're providing, on a monthly basis, you're looking at $500 to $2,000 a month per client. And it actually could be a little bit more than that depending on the client. But usually $500 on the low end, $2,000 on the high end, and it's kind of a tiered package kind of thing. That's what we put together: $500, $1,500, $2,000 type levels. But there's also upfront, usually upfront projects to get a client started. So you're going to end up making upfront $300, $400, $500 right up front before the monthly even kicks in. Okay, but that's what you can expect per client. So if you're looking at that realistically, and let's say that you go out and you can get 5 clients. That's very, very realistic. 5 clients. You're looking at $2,500 to $10,000 a month. And again, if you're outsourcing smartly, you can easily increase 5 clients to 10 clients. And the outsourcing resources and what we're going to train and teach on, you don't have to spend a lot. I can tell you right now, Angela, and I hope I'm not giving away a big secret of Angela, but Angela has somebody that basically she has do some activities for her for $3 a day. They do a little bit here, a little bit there, but it only costs her $3 a day. That's on the extreme end, and they do a very good job, by the way, which is, amazing in and of itself. But the point is, you can greatly expand what you can expect by outsourcing, and that's, again, a large part of what we do and what we teach. But this is a good, realistic expectation. I want you to think about this for a minute, okay? Even on the low end, if you had 5 clients at $500 a month, and you're making $2,500 a month. Now, each client is going to require about an hour a day's worth of work. So you're working 5 hours a day, that's it, and you're making $2,500 a month. That's not too shabby, is it? That's not too shabby. But we want to show you how you can, and again, the beauty of being a social media manager is you don't have to shoot for the moon. You don't have to say, well, Rick, I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to make $20,000 a month. There's a lot of people that making $2,500 a month for what amounts to be part-time work would be fantastic. And I'll tell you right now, that's a realistic expectation. That's the beauty of where we're at right now. Folks, social media managers are in such huge demand. It's like the wild, wild west right now. You could write in, and as long as you've got a 6-gun strapped to your side, they're going to hire you as a hired gun. Whether you're certified or not, we're going to make sure that our people get the right kind of training, because obviously we're going to be engaging those people and creating client opportunities for those people. So obviously for us as a company, we need to make sure that you as a social media manager is as knowledgeable as you possibly can be. Thus, that's why we're going through this certification course. So, who is Small Biz Social? Right? Small Biz Social, Angela and myself are partners. We've got other people that work for us, but who we are. First and foremost, we're a social media management agency. That's number one. We obviously have put together a 4-week training course, which is what we're going to talk to you about. We have ongoing coaching calls that's part of that course and part of what we're doing with our certification process. And when I say ongoing coaching calls, that means after the 4-week training course is done. We're providing a complete set of resources, and I'll break those resources down for you here in a little bit, but the resources are incredible that we're bringing to the table for everybody that's coming on board with us as a social media manager, or I guess at least social media manager trainee. And here's the big one. This is what sets us apart from everybody else out there. We are creating client engagement opportunities for our social media managers. For our certified social media managers, we are creating client opportunities. That's huge, folks. No one else is doing that. So a little bit about our social media management. What do we provide a company? And again, when we say what do we provide a company, this is what you would be providing a company. Consulting, basic profile management, content creation and distribution, audience building is a huge piece, engagement, so engaging that audience once they've come to the page, and customer service. This is all part of the service, the services, the level of services that we provide with our social media management piece in the agency. Okay. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited to share our goal with you that we're bringing to the table here. And again, you guys play into this in a big way, because we're creating these client opportunities. Angela and I aren't going to be working all of these at all. We want to bring you on board to be able to handle a lot of these clients that we're going to be bringing on. But our goal over the next year is to become the #1 social media management agency for chiropractors and dentists. That's our niche. We've already got a great foothold in both of these arenas. We already have clients on the chiropractor side. We're going to start ramping up the dentist side of what we're doing here shortly, but we already have huge inroads in the dental community that's really going to be able to bring a large number of clients our way. But our goal to be the #1 social media management agency for chiropractors and dentists, that's our niche, and it's a huge niche. And I'll share with you how big that is in a minute. Let's talk about our 4-week training course. So week 1, Introduction to Social Media Management, and I'm going to drill down on each one of these in a minute. Week 2, what is a social media manager? What makes up a social media manager? What do you have to know to be a successful social media manager? Week 3, how to package your services and run your business. And finally, week 4, how to find clients. Even though we're going to be bringing clients to the table for everybody, actually it's the first 50 people are going to be, will be able to participate in that. But just because we're bringing people on board that you potentially are going to be working with doesn't mean you shouldn't be going out finding your own clients. And we're going to do, obviously, one of the big training pieces is showing you exactly how to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at week 1, our introduction. So what is social media? Well, we're really going to drill down on the platforms. We're going to drill down on Facebook. We're going to drill down on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and what I think is one of the hottest new social media platforms out there. And I think it's already proven to drive more traffic than a lot of existing networks do right now, and that's Pinterest. But that's really what's going to be week 1, drilling down on these social media platforms and talking a lot about what makes them up, why they're important, what types of businesses need to focus on each one of these. That's what we're going to be looking at in the week 1 introduction piece. Week 2, social media management. Okay, we're going to be getting into a number of things here, all kind of work related, pulling out the toolkit, performing the audit. What does that, what does that entail? Cleaning up the mess, cleaning up what a company has already done that you have to come in behind and clean up. That's a big part of it. Certainly developing the strategy with your client, developing the strategy for that small business for social media management. What does that look like? Content development, how to get that done, how to outsource it, how to do it yourself. We'll be drilling down quite a bit on that in that week 2 piece. Consistent posting, image management. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that entail? And then finally, of course, audience development and engagement. Super important piece. How do you target people for your client? Where do you find them? How do you bring them to their fan page? How do you engage them once they get there? This is what week 2 is all about. So week 3, running your business. It's really all about the nuts and bolts. This is really where we're going to kind of get in there. We're going to roll up our sleeves and really show you the running the business side of what this is all about. We're going to take a look at contracts. Now, I put in parentheses agreements, and here's a little tip for you. Never call a contract a contract. Always call it an agreement. People are afraid of contracts. And if you go to a new client and say, hey, I've got a contract for you to sign, they're gonna blanch white. Because when you sign a contract, it's usually a legal thing. It's usually a big deal, right? So it's an agreement. I always call it an agreement. Always. Even if it says contract on it, I'll always call it an agreement. But we'll get into that, exactly what that's all about. Initial consultation, the type of initial consultation that you're going to need to do with your client, why that's important, and the types of things that you need to ask them about. This is a big one. Setting expectations. Why it's important to set expectations. What kind of expectations do you set? What kind of measurement are you going to have to be able to show them progress in their social media? But setting those expectations is a big key. This is kind of important, isn't it? Billing, client engagement, right? Making sure everybody's on the same page about exactly how the billing works. We're going to give you a lot of really good tips on what to do and especially what not to do when bringing on a new client as far as billing's concerned. And then finally, tracking and reporting. It's critically important on a monthly basis that you're showing the client what you're doing for them, right? So tracking and reporting, what does that look like? And trust me, it goes way beyond what you currently see right now that Insights are providing on your Facebook fan pages. Okay, so tracking and reporting. So that's week 3, running your business. Oh, and then, of course, outsourcing. Yeah, and we talked a little bit about outsourcing, but outsourcing is a key piece. We'll get into that in week 3 as well. Week 4, that final week, finding clients. Okay, so finding clients is a key piece. There's a lot of different types of clients, and we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about each one, and we're going to also talk about what I consider to be low-hanging fruit when it comes to clients. And when I say low-hanging fruit, that's a sales term that's been around for a long time, but if you haven't been in the sales business, low-hanging fruit means the easy ones. What's easy pickings in the client world? We'll talk about that. What I really want to have everybody do is focus on a niche. The biggest mistake you can make is go out there, say, I'm a certified social media manager, I'm ready to start getting clients, and put your sign out there and say, I'm ready to take on all takers. Doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser or a pet store or a bar or a restaurant or a bowling alley, it doesn't matter. We're going to show you why focusing on a niche, and obviously we're focusing on niches, big ones with chiropractors and dentists, but we're focusing on a niche. But why focusing on a niche is incredibly important, and it's going to differentiate you from the crowd. We'll talk about marketing yourself. What does it take to really successfully market yourself? How do you create a presence? How do you brand yourself is really what it comes down to. Approaching potential clients. How do you approach a potential client? How do you find them? How do you approach them? What should you be saying? What should you be showing them? Once you've approached the client, you've had some kind of initial conversation, how do you follow up? Follow up is key, obviously. And then this final piece, which most people screw up, is closing. How do you close them? How do you ask for the sale? There's a number of what I call closing secrets that we're going to be teaching you in this week 4 piece that I'm super excited about, that have definitely worked for us, and we're going to be sharing that with you. Okay, so it all comes down to this. All comes down to, after 4 weeks of weekly training, 4 weeks of supplemental training, because we're going to be doing training sessions every Thursday night for the next 4 weeks, starting next Thursday night. We're going to be doing training every Thursday night for an hour. Then in between, there's supplemental training. There's going to be videos for you to watch. There's going to be assignments for you to do. There's going to be stuff for you to read. Okay, it all comes down to, at the end of that 4-week period, getting this certificate of completion and becoming a certified social media manager. Now, there is going to be a final project dissertation. For those of you that have been to college, you know exactly what this is. You're going, oh my God, I thought I left school ages ago. Yeah, well, this is important, and it's fun. This will be fun. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a lot of fun. But this final project dissertation, this is required to get this certificate. It's not just that you can go through the training. We got to make sure that you know what you're doing, right? You're going to earn your social media management certification as a result of completing the dissertation and passing all our quizzes, AMs, because we're going to be doing quizzes and exams all along the way. And again, folks, this is not rocket science. This isn't rocket science. This is an art. A little bit of science to it, but this is an art, okay? But, you know, you've got to be able to prove that you've learned and that you're ready at whatever level, you're ready to take on someone and manage their social media piece. So this is what you're going to go through at the end of that 4 weeks to make sure that you're certified. On top of that, once that 4 weeks is done, once you've got that certificate in hand, woohoo, and we have a big graduation party. I suppose we're going to have the graduation party virtually, but we're going to be doing weekly coaching calls. These calls are going to be held every single week. This is your opportunity to be able to ask questions, to interface with the group. Obviously, we have the group page on Facebook that's going to supply a lot of that as well. We're going to actually create a separate group that's just going to be the people that are part of our training. We'll create a separate group for that, but you'll have that opportunity to interface amongst one another, ask us questions in that group environment on a daily basis, and then also on these weekly coaching calls. Then we've developed and are developing a resource library. We've got a large number of client management tools that we're bringing to the table, project management resources, analysis and tracking tools that you're going to be using with your clients, custom fan page tab building tools. Again, you know, this is a piece that you could outsource right here, okay? And for many of you, probably is a good idea. We'll talk about that, but we're going to be providing this tool so that if you want to do it yourself, you're going to have that opportunity to be able to do it. And then, of course, all the client forms that you're going to need, the agreements, audit sheets, billing worksheets, everything that you're going to need really to manage your client, we're going to have for you as part of this resource library. Okay, now, this is, without question, probably the most exciting piece to this, to what we're going to be doing. Yeah, it's going to be great. The training is going to be fantastic. You're going to feel like you really have a good handle on being able to manage social media for a client once you're done with everything. But how great would it be for us to be able to hand you clients that you could start working with almost immediately? Well, that's what the client opportunity is all about. Let's take a look at our target markets. We've already told you it's chiropractors and dentists. We've got over 42,000 chiropractors on Facebook. That's our target. Okay, we've already developed the social chiropractor. Okay, the social chiropractor is what we're using to reach out to these chiropractors, to engage them in conversation. We've created materials for them. We've got a 30-minute free consultation that we're working with them. This is really beginning to work for us. And this is how we're bringing in, one of the ways that we're bringing in chiropractors using Facebook. Matter of fact, there's one of our current clients, Savage Chiropractic in Spokane, Washington. Our other huge target market is dentists. Over 133,000 dentists on Facebook right now. The dental market is fantastic. It's very similar to the chiropractic market. They're highly competitive. They're all out there marketing themselves, putting themselves out there. They all know that social media is incredibly important for their practices. This is a terrific market for us. So these are the two markets that we're really going to be zeroed in on. So how's that going to work? Well, we've created something that we call the bench. I've had this in another company that I used to work with. I used to run, I was vice president of internet marketing for an ad agency in Santa Monica, California a number of years ago. We had something called the bench, and the bench was designed to bring people in. If we didn't have a position available for that person, but we wanted to kind of keep them around, we wanted to keep them top of mind, we would bring them in, we'd put them on the bench. So in other words, we'd interview them, we'd go through the entire process as if we were going to hire them. They know up front, by the way, they weren't that position wasn't available right then, but they would be on the bench. So we developed a very robust, very diversified and talented bench that way. Well, similar type thing here. But the difference is we're bringing clients to you. First 50 people who sign up qualify for the bench. That's it. We can only work 50 people to start with, and I have no idea when that's going to change. Hopefully in 6 months or so we're going to need another 50. But for right now, the first 50 people who sign up are part of that bench, can qualify for the bench. Obviously, to qualify to really be on the bench, you have to successfully complete the training and get certified. But it's the first 50 people who sign up for the training. Now, once certified, you have the opportunity to participate in client placement opportunities. That's the big part of what the bench is all about. And it's up to 10 client opportunities. So we potentially can give you up to 10 client opportunities. And I can tell you that what we're going to be doing to market ourselves, what we're already doing, and the groundwork that we're laying, the idea that we would have 500 clients, right? So if we had 500 clients, there's 50 of you that we're going to give 10 clients to, that's 500, is more than doable over the course of the next 6 months. But being part of the bench, you could get up to 10 client opportunities for us. Now I want you to think about this. Again, put a dollar figure on that. Think about what those clients can bring in. Okay, obviously it's going to be a shared revenue situation because we're bringing you the client, but you're still getting a big chunk of it on top of clients that you go out and bring in yourself. So let's say you have had 2 or 3 from us and you went out and got 3 or 4 yourself. I mean, that's an incredible opportunity that we're bringing as part of this entire program that we're putting together and starting with everybody. Okay. How you can participate. How do you make this happen? Well, I'm going to make it really simple, okay? It's a one-time $297 fee, one time, and then starting in a month, if you qualify for the bench, it'll be $37 a month to be part of that, because there's a number of other things that go with being on the bench. But it'll be $37 a month ongoing to be part of the bench. You don't have to be part of the bench. You can just say, Rick, I like what you guys are going to do training-wise. I want to go through it. I want to take the 4-week training course, and I'll go out and get my own clients, or I'm already kind of working towards that. So, you know, and you don't want us to give you clients, so you don't have to be part of that. But so one time, $297, and of course you get the 4-week training, you get the certification, you get the supplemental training materials, the weekly coaching calls that are ongoing a resource library, everything that we just went through, okay? Everything that we just went through, and you get priority bench placement. As somebody that comes in and does the 297, because I've got another option for those people that are out there that are going, okay, I don't know that I could do 297 one time. And by the way, I did a tremendous amount of research on all the other social media management training courses that are out there, even the ones that have certification. I can tell you that we are offering by far the best value out there. Most of the other ones are more expensive than $297. Some as much as $1,000, but a lot of them are, $400, $500, that type of thing. And none of them are offering the client opportunities that we're bringing to the table with the bench. So again. Okay, so your other opportunity, the other way that you can be part of what we're doing here, for those of you that can't do this 297 right off the bat, and remember, doing the 297 right off the bat will put you in a priority position on the bench. But we do understand that obviously some people just can't do that, and we don't want to restrict this opportunity. So what we've done is we have created another option for you. We've created a two-payment option, and that two-payment option is two payments of $157. So $157 right up front, and then the other $157 1 month later. Okay, and that takes care of it, and it's over with. Then that $37 a month will start up a month from when you sign up. That $37 a month starts up. That gets you on the bench. That secures your bench position if you're one of the first 50 people to sign up. And again, this includes exactly the same thing that you get with that first option, except priority placement on the bench. But you still get the 4-week training and certification. You get supplemental training materials, the ongoing weekly coaching calls, and of course the terrific resource library that we put together for you to help you run your business once you've gotten your certification. Okay, so next steps. Obviously, next steps for you, if you're serious about being a social media manager, the next steps are to get yourself signed up on one of those two options. Thursday night training starts this coming Thursday night, March the 8th, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central. 6 o'clock Mountain. I like to make sure we hit all of those. So Thursday night training starts. And by the way, you can see this 100% satisfaction money back guarantee. I just want to make sure everybody understands that if after your 4-week training, after you've completed the 4-week training, if you aren't completely satisfied with the training that you've received and the opportunity that you have in your hands, we will refund your money 100%. So sign up. Take that next step. This is a tremendous opportunity. Think about even getting your first client. Your first client is more than going to pay for the cost of this training, isn't it? It's more than going to pay for it. Even if your first client is only a $500 a month client, it's going to pay for this training. So take this big step. Let's get going. Get plugged in so you can be part of this training. We look forward to seeing you on the inside.